Hi, Shilpa.
Hi, Dave.
Uh, Shilpa, first things first, how are you? What's everything you're doing right now? How's everything for you? And how's life been lately?
I've been great, is a small word. I've been ecstatic, and I've been living in the best space of my life so far.
Right. I've seen a lot about you, I've read a lot about you, and one question that always comes to my mind is how someone could reach such great heights when it comes to their passion. You've been a designer yourself, you've started your own brand, and then you suddenly stopped it.
After 12, 13 years.
Right, 13 years. And I can't really fathom how that someone can do this. Because if you ask me to stop podcasting today, right, because of some ecological reasons, it can be anything again.
Right.
Would I do that? I would take my own time to think about it. Right. And probably I'm not even there yet to feel like, okay, I've achieved, so I shouldn't be stopping this. But then you have been there at the peak. I felt, how could she do it? And that probably led me to think that probably she's one of the most genuine person that I can ever talk to. So I want to understand, how could you, as Shilpa Reddy, could stop that?
First of all, I would like to say, I would like to correct saying that you said you achieved a lot or you did so much. Well, one life is not enough to do all that you want to do. So fashion was my passion, right? I studied fashion because I'm a creative person. For me, it's all about colors, aesthetic, presentation, fabrics, textures. This is what enticed me to get into fashion. And like any other young girl, when I was studying fashion in Canada, I was so taken aback with the glamour, with the colors and the fashion shows. But only after getting into the fashion industry as a designer, I knew, it is not all glamour. There's a lot of hard work behind what you see on the stage. It is such a personalized profession. And I enjoyed it. I'm not going to deny it. I enjoyed fashion for the longest time. I loved dressing up. I still do. It is more like fashion is an expression of who you are today. Tomorrow I might feel differently. I might dress up completely differently. So that beauty of being able to express your mood through clothes, and that can change every single day, was so fantastic for me.
Right.
And as I kept moving ahead in my life, you keep learning, you learn every day. But the only thing I kept asking myself was, at the end of the day, am I sleeping well, and am I happy as to what I've done that particular day? And my work, is it bringing smiles to somebody and also helping me feel fulfilled? So that is the question I ask every single day. Like if I sleep, like, has it been a great day? Did I make any mistakes? Did I say something that I shouldn't have said? So this contemplation and reflection happens every day. And as I kept learning and I got into, physically, my fitness journey started 25 years ago and I'm still consistently doing it. But my spiritual journey, when I say spiritual, like physically, I was working upon myself. But I wasn't doing much or investing much time for my spiritual health, turning inwards. So, to an extent, when you train, definitely a part of your mind is becoming strong, resilient. The days you don't want to train, but you still end up training, you keep showing up. That also builds resilience. Mentally, you become strong, and so on and so forth. But empathy and awareness and consciousness doesn't come with just physical training. It comes only when you sit with yourself and turn inwards. And that happened to me when I was 31. When I did this course called Inner Engineering by Sadhguru. And it was a simple 20-minute practice that he taught us. And I kept doing it consistently. And you will not believe the magic of that simple process. It kind of filters out your life so beautifully, so organically. You start seeing things like multi-layer deep. It's happened so organically because it is changing the chemical reactions that happen in the body to your advantage, and then your depth of observing things goes so deeper. Like when you're looking at a person, you're really looking at him. You're not superficially. I'm not looking at them physically. I'm trying to look at you as a person, as how you might have become who you are today. And if you're talking to me, I'm listening. I'm not hearing you. I'm listening, truly listening with intent. So the depth of penetration started happening in my life. And then I started questioning fashion industry. Okay, then what is the impact I'm creating around me through my profession? Slowly, it dawned upon me that fashion industry is the third largest polluting industry on the planet. And it disturbed me. And I wanted to make few changes with my fashion. I said like, okay, now I'm using all this synthetic fabric, hundreds and hundreds of meters of fabric every single month, selling people more than probably what they need. Okay, fine, I'm bringing smiles on these people's faces. The bride is saying, oh, this is the best outfit I've worn. The groom is saying the photographs have come out so beautifully in your outfits. That is fine, that is satisfaction, fine. But my work, is it impacting the world in a positive or a negative manner? What am I leaving behind? Then I tried to change my aesthetics from all these georgettes and chiffons. I started trying to create outfits out of cotton and silk and linen. And the moment I started doing that, I lost a lot of clientele.
Right.
Because these are the fabrics that are very hard to maintain.
Right.
And they come at a cost. The handlooms are very expensive. I was doing it, but still I was feeling that I am producing more than what the world needs. I'm trying to, obviously you're making clothes, you're investing, you have to sell, right? You're marketing, you're selling, you want to sell, and are you selling something that is really needed for the people? Then I started questioning, and then after a few months, my heart was not there in it. And then, do I really want to like slug this and like go ahead with this kind of a feeling? Because I'm reflecting every day. I'm not somewhere like, oh, I made like 10 ghagras I sold, like I made my money. Okay, this much I invested, so okay, this month I'm sorted, my overheads are taken care of. That's not my thought process. I'm like, okay, that's not my thought process. I'm not very enterprising. People think I'm successful, but I'm not enterprising. For me, my work, what is it making me? The process, how am I evolving with what I'm doing? And what kind of impact am I creating with the kind of work I'm doing? Am I, having a clear conscience before I go to bed? These are the questions I always asked myself. So this was not falling into place. It was, I'm not aligned anymore with this new awareness, with this meditation that is, damn it, taking me so deep into every damn thing, is not making me feel good about myself or my profession. And then I said, it was very hard. I'm not saying it was easy. It was a bitter, sweet goodbye, because my staff, my space, my assistants, the buzzing studio, my clientele, 13 years, and I've done shows across the world. It was not easy, but then that feeling that I used to sleep with was something which was not, feeling good. So then I said, it doesn't have to be only fashion. Okay, fine. Let me just think of what else can we do. And then happened my ACOM schools with Sam. And I think universe will definitely have another plan if you're authentic to yourself and you're seeking, and when your intent is really, really strong and you want a difference or you want to change your life. Definitely there will be a space where you're confused as hell. There will be a space you might break down. There might be a space you're tempted to go back again and say like, okay, let me just dismiss all these thoughts. Like, I'm good at this. I studied fashion. I've invested all my life. But that phase, if you cross, I think universe will just, throw abundance at you if you're willing to take it.
Right. Now that you've mentioned, for you now success has changed, I believe. What we generally call success to others is not for you again, right? It's a different definition now. And it would be really interesting if you can define success to me, right? Success. What does success mean to you?
My definition for success.
Right. But before that, before you do that, I'd ask, how are you measuring impact? Because now that you've mentioned that now you're doing things that will impact the society in a positive way, I want to understand how are you measuring that part?
I don't plan anything, actually. I just do what feels right and what feels fulfilling.
Right.
So once I stopped fashion, why I stopped fashion, I told you, because the conscience awareness about sustainability and what we're doing to the planet and what roles we are playing and the choices we are making. All that started coming together, and I started sharing those little changes that I started making because I felt small changes like today. Now that I told about the plastic over here, so little choices if you change, we can bring a lot of impact around. So I started using my social media platform to talk about sustainability or small changes people can bring into their life that can mitigate harm in the coming years. Then the thought of starting a channel. I started a YouTube channel called
Right.
Sustainable Living
Right.
with Shilpa Reddy,
Right.
wanting to educate people. More than educate, I would like to say creating awareness. And when I started doing that, the kind of messages and emails that I got, uh, the best one I'll share is a set of set of teachers messaged me saying, "Ma'am, your channel has become a curriculum for our students
Wow.
through which we are teaching them
Sustainability.
sustainability or eco-friendly living or conscious choices that one can make in a day-to-day life." So that is an impact that I've created with an intention. So that was the biggest impact, and then like that, I mean, this is the biggest
Right,
impact when
right,
someone is
right.
calling your channel as a curriculum.
Right.
I thought like, okay, so whatever I want to do or I will do has to be useful to not just me. I mean, of course, I'm also, getting nourished by doing these, educating or, creating awareness. But when it goes out, is it only giving me the satisfaction? Is it only giving me the success? But is that success impacting others in their life so they can also live a positive life? So that was the simple impact that I was talking about with that starting that channel called Sustainable Living with Shilpa Reddy. And then I thought, if I sit and talk about sustainability, nobody's going to listen. So then I pulled all my celebrity friends, because when a celebrity talks about sustainability, people will sit down and watch.
You get attention.
Yeah, you get attention.
Right.
So people who never spoke about sustainability, all my friends came on my show and spoke, and then those clips went viral. And I also realized with my channel that people are hungry to learn, but they don't have channels that they can learn from.
Wow.
So when the kind of mails again I'm getting, "Ma'am, we didn't know that this is the impact this would create with this simple choice that I made today. So I'm going to change this little thing today." So you are, influencing people, it's not a performance. You are influencing people by doing what you're doing authentically. And I felt that being authentic and just sharing what I know is, creating this kind of an impact. So this is my success. That's my success. And in the process, whom I'm becoming, that is my success. So success could be different for different people. I'm not saying this is the way to do it, but I'm only trying to help people to invest time in your body and mind.
Right.
Because we invest time studying math, science, business, commerce, marketing, all of that. Well, that's great because you want to make a livelihood, you have to be successful, you need money to exist in this world, all that is fine. But if you're not training your body and mind, you will know only this skill, what you've studied. You will not know how to balance your emotions, rejection, disappointments. If someone talks to you in a harsh way, how to handle that. You're not equipped with these things. If you don't stabilize your body and mind and energy, no matter how successful you are in your profession, you will fall apart when small something is thrown into your life that you cannot handle. So success can be there. You can invest all the time you want in studying, educating yourself, developing a skill, but also please invest time in your body, mind, energy. Yeah.
Right. No, that's really profound, especially the part where you mentioned that, kind of impact that you're creating, or the things that you touched, and gave it a certain meaning out there. But then it also comes down to a point where you sit with yourself and try to understand how can you multiply this. This always is thought, right? When you're doing something good and you see the results, you would always want to multiply that aspect of it. So I want to understand,
Okay.
how do you sit with yourself with this thing in your mind that you want to educate more, you want to make this world a better place?
No, I'm not a savior. Okay,
Right.
let me be very straight. I will do everything in my power to educate without compromising on my time to keep myself happy and content. I will not go out of the way
Right.
or neglect myself or my time that I need to
Wow.
invest in myself and try to do something outside just because it's creating an impact. Okay? I've realized over the years, a busy calendar or the most activity that you have in your life is not, that's not how you measure your success. Doing everything in your power to your best of your ability without crossing boundaries and disturbing your inner peace,
Wow.
is something that I can do. Okay, fine, this channel happened, great. Then we thought of starting a school, right? And again, this thought of starting a school happened when I saw my son growing up and his toddler stage, because I was with him throughout. In fact, I changed my studio to 3 different places just to stay close to home. So if my need is there to go see my son, it is just 5 minutes drive. And I lost clients because I went into one small colony where it's like a house right next lane to my house when he was growing up, and I went to his school to pick him up every single day till 5 years. So I was there. Like, I changed everything around for this priority, and I observed this boy growing up from from when he was born till 5 years, and I saw what impact you can create in a child's life if you are there for them. He doesn't care who I am outside. He is only bothered if my mother is present for me, if she's listening to me, if she's available for me when I need her. So I saw that and I thought we should start a school which gives this kind of attention to
Young
children.
Yeah, yes.
And that's how ACOM started. I found, similar kind of people who became founders with me later on. So again, that is another impact. And then if you see, kids who come to our school don't cry at all. The first 2 days they cry, of course, it's the first time they're separated from their parents, but they want to come to school. That means you're doing something right. If a child is crying to go to school, that means the school is doing something wrong. Because somewhere I read this beautiful line saying that if a child is a curious sponge, he is willing to learn and absorb everything that is being shown to him or her. Such a curious life, if it is crying to go to school, that means the school is not building enough curiosity to keep him happy, him or her. I have a son, so I keep saying him, nothing to do with gender bias. So now when it's so gratifying when children try to come to school, because when we have Dasara holidays or Christmas holidays, they're like, why am I not going to ACOM? Okay, and there was a beautiful story sharing by one of our parents. They were driving past the school after a dinner party, and then this kid started crying, saying that I want to go to ACOM. It was like 8:30 in the evening or something.
Right.
So don't you feel that you're creating impact?
Right.
So this is what I want to do. Like, other people should feel that they're receiving something beautiful and it is changing their life in a better way. It could be a smallest thing. You could be creating a small, like a eco-friendly utility bag which fits in your phone, which fits in your book and a laptop,
Everything.
whatever. If that thing is useful for another person and also bringing you profit, do that. So it is not that I'm saying don't try to make money, don't look at commerce, do all of that, but just think and ask yourself, is this product, if you're creating a product, impacting other life and is not ripping off the planet in some way or the other? So when you are creating impact, this is the question. I mean, when I want to create impact, this is the question I always ask myself.
Right, right. I really love the fact that you're not letting external things come to you or destroy your inner peace, right? Because I'll tell you something very recently happened to me. I followed this gigantic personality online. So I've always been an introvert, and this is me being extrovert now. But I'm still am. I don't have Instagram or any other apps on my phone. I still don't use that. But then I followed this personality because of course I love the work that they've done, and probably thought this idea that one day I'll have them, or him or her. I'm not mentioning the gender as well. But then I started following, and the amount of toxicity that account has given me was immense. I unfollowed this personality because I couldn't take that toxicity anymore.
It seeps through.
Yeah, because something has happened and this person is there online, and they're ranting and doing all of that, and I'm like, there are ways to deal with things than just ranting. And you have been someone who has done. I think you're one of the most peaceful persons that I've ever met, who is doing something for a cause and not venting out or not showing that frustration and all of that. And I really understand that you don't let it go inside to you, but I also know that it's very hard. When you are in that business and you want to make that change, sometimes you get aggressive. I get that. But probably I always question myself, is this the right way to do it? Right? When we have examples such as you, I really can't point out any other example other than you who's doing something for a cause without being aggressive.
Okay.
Right. No, I really can't. I'm sure most of the persons here, most of the audience here in the room, I don't think they will have an answer who can show me someone else who's also a peaceful person, other than Sadhguru, of course. He's very peaceful.
I'm a outdrop of him. So.
Right. Your disciple, so to say, because you consider him as your guru.
Right.
So apart from Sadhguru and you, I've never seen someone who's peaceful and trying to do the things in the right way. So I want to understand, how do you make sure that you hold that peace within yourself, because most can't. So probably if they're here looking at this or watching this episode, I want them to know the right way of doing activism, let's say, for example. How do we do that?
What I hate the most.
Okay. I'll reframe it. How can we peacefully change the world without being aggressive?
So when you say world, it's nothing but people, right? Like 10,000 people become a society or a community.
Right.
So it is as simple as that. If you become peaceful within yourself, that's what you give out to the world. So it is beautifully said somewhere that like all these peace talks that happen across the world, the people who come for these seminars and conferences, half the people are not peaceful, but they're just talking about peace. And then they're saying world out there, you also are part of the world.
Wow.
So if you, me, all these people in the room suddenly become very peaceful, like, do we even need to rant and do we have to shout on top of our voices? Because what you say peacefully, all these people understand, because their state of mind is also peaceful.
They're receptive to listen.
Yeah. So working upon yourself, that is the ultimate. And I've also read in many places that the moment you get angry, frustrated, disappointed, the chemical reaction that happens within your system, the rise of cortisol,
Right.
and it's like literally that there's poison running in your blood,
It stays for more hours, right?
and it stays for few hours.
Right.
So a wise person will never pollute or contaminate their body for something that can be said it in a peaceful manner.
Wow.
So it's all about awareness, how you're feeling when not that I don't get angry,
Of course.
but most of the time my anger is stimulated anger. Like I stimulate the anger to get things done a certain way.
Right.
Likita knows that a lot.
Right.
Sometimes even with my son, like I can never get angry with him.
Right.
But certain situations demand me to look assertive and be stern. And that's when I stimulate anger, meaning like not like it is taking control of me. I control the anger and I stimulate it for that situation and then go back and then be back to myself. So this control, this awareness comes with working on yourself. Over the years, like it's been almost like 16 years now, I've been religiously meditating every day, and then that half an hour became 1.5 hours now.
Right. Yeah.
So, I'm not saying everybody should get there, but even if you bring a little bit of awareness, even if in the scientific way, just say, oh, cortisol is going up, my blood is getting poisoned with this anger chemical in my body, so I should not do this. Do I really need to hold this anger on this person? So just like do some like deep breathing, and then you calm down, and then you save yourself. Why do you want to exert and waste yourself for something that is not good for your body? That person is not even. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to him how you're feeling. He is happily doing his work. You are the one who is destroying yourself. I mean, a wise person would never do that. So you start thinking like that, and then you can stimulate anger when it's needed. I do that all the time. When you have to be strong, assertive, you have to be sometimes mean. I do that. I have to do it. I'll do it. I'll play that role and then go back to my peaceful state. So that's
Right.
that.
Right. Yeah. So the question I asked is because I really like that personality, as I mentioned, and I unfollowed it right away. It was 2-3 days down. I was
Right.
like, I can't take this anymore.
Mm.
You're a great person, great, but I can't subscribe to that idea, right? And I would some days get up, and the moment I open social media, because sometimes I have to track what the team is doing, the kind of content they're posting. When I open that, and every time I open that, this person's there, and they're being so toxic. I don't know how they're maintaining their relationships with their own family members, because when you have that cortisol level going up, you can't have a healthy marriage.
Right.
Your kids might not find you that warm as well. So I thought I can't take this. I love you, but I'm sorry. This is it. So I had to unfollow that personality. But I think following you has been one of the best things that I've done. And I don't know if anyone follows you. I mean, if everyone follows you or not. But I feel really sorry for the ones who do not, because every day I sleep late at night, and by the time I sleep, you wake up. Right? This is at exactly 3:12, 3:15. There's this video where a
Not
story
every
that you
day,
share.
but there are days that something wakes me up.
But I
fine.
think from the day that I've been following you, it's consistent. You wake up at 3 around, something like that, and then you put this devotional video where you're lighting a lamp, or the lamp is lit, and I feel like at least I'm seeing this and sleeping, right? Because
Sweet.
my mom complains that you never wake up in time, and although
You're
that's not a good
nocturnal.
thing. Yeah, it's not a good thing. I'm not proud of it, but my mom always complains. But now I say no. I see Bhagwan and sleep while
Oh my God.
I see and sleep, and I've seen it today as well. And that's the time I sleep when
Okay.
you wake up. So I'm really curious of understanding how does your typical day look like, right from the start, and I also want to understand the kind of work that you also do infused in a day. How does your busy day look like? Let's say it's a busy day.
Let's say it's a busy day. So till 12, I'm not doing anything but just working upon myself.
Right.
So what I meant by that is, over the years, I've realized the more and more I put in the time to close my eyes and sit and do my kriyas, the depth of my existence has become so much more deeper. Like when I look at an ant, I'm looking at the mechanism of an ant. I'm thinking, like, did human being till today they were not able to make a machine like ant, which is so efficient, like it can pick up such a big load, it is so light, it can walk up, it can walk this way, that way, and
Big
the
walls.
mechanism and the kind of homes the damn ant builds, the colonies, and that this queen ant, and I'm like, wow, when you see an ant, I'm thinking like, I'm going deep into it.
Right.
When I look at a bird, I'm like, oh my God, how does it know how to build a nest? So that depth of life, it deepened. My life deepened in the most intoxicating way, in a beautifully intoxicating way. When I see a moon, tears can just start rolling down my cheeks. Something stimulates me, where just living becomes a beautiful experience. Just looking at a grain of sand to a mosquitoes, no. But still, I wonder mosquitoes also beautiful because there's some reel that came to me. Apparently, the kind of the radar that they have is very close to the military radars that Russia has. So it's, and when I saw to you, little mosquito, you have so much behind you, and you're designed with such care and depth. So I started, enjoying my meditation, because everything I do, it feels like I'm doing with devotion. Like, even when I'm talking to you, I'm like fully there here, and I'm fully connected to all of them, and it feels wonderful. I don't know, I can't explain it in words, but I feel my energetic field is expanded. It's not within yourself, but it's expanding, and it's a beautiful feeling. So I started investing more time in my practices. So I wake up around 5. New moon, full moon, the damn moon wakes me up early because the energetic field changes. I mean, this could be very weird or different for you all, but once you're on a spiritual practice, energy behaves very differently, and then your subtlety of catching things becomes so beautiful that, like, smallest of the smallest things come to your awareness, and that's a beautiful way of existing, to me at least. So I wake up at 5. I have a sadhana, certain processes I have. Till 7 I'm there. Then 7 I have a small, like a green juice break, and then I train for another 1.5 hours. After that, I make few calls and I do my puja for another 1 hour. So it's like 12:30, and then I have my lunch. Then my work starts. After my lunch, lunch has to be peaceful. I don't like to sit and eat with anybody else, because I'm looking at the food, and I am sometimes crying. Crying means not crying, tears of gratitude to the Mother Earth. Like, see, again, I want to just cut this and jump to the sustainability and your relationship with the planet. When you say eco-friendly way of living, you're not trying to fix something. The moment you change your relation with the soil, with the planet, you have to become sustainable. Like, if a child is taught to wake up every morning and look at the earth or the ground or the floor as Dharti Ma or Bhudevi or Dharani Amma or whatever you want to call it, and if he or she is being taught a simple shloka thanking Mother Earth for nourishing the life that we are, and step on it the first thing in the morning, over the years, if you keep doing it, don't you think naturally you're oriented towards not wanting to harm the planet or not do anything that you think might cause harm to the planet or the soil or the food or the nourishment that the soil gives you? Right? So it's just that orientation, right? So that food, when it comes in front of me, at least one meal I like to sit by myself and not have anybody around. And that's the time I thank the farmer, I thank every insect that has given up their lives when the field was being plowed, many snakes and reptiles that have been killed when the field is being plowed. The farmer in the hot sun, probably he's sowing the seed, he's breaking his back throughout a hot afternoon wherein we're all sitting in the AC, and the harvest, the rain, the person who's plucking, the person who's transporting, my chef who is going and picking up the vegetables, my husband who's paying for the vegetables, the chef the person who's coming and bringing the food onto my table. When you just sit and go, with your thoughts go, and then you sit and look at the food, you look at food as something divine, right? So why I'm saying this is, once you start respecting and holding this reverence towards every life form around you as much as you can. I'm not saying I'm a saint. If a mosquito comes and sits on me, I will kill it because it will suck my blood. But what I'm saying is, like, when you have that reverence and the depth of thinking and the way you look at life, nobody needs to teach you ethics. Nobody needs to teach you this is right, do this wrong, this is not. It just becomes your second nature to present yourself a certain way, behave a certain way, make choices a certain way, hold your relations a certain way, how you talk, how you walk, how you react, how you respond. everything changes. And I felt I got all of that with the power of closing your eyes and introspecting and reflecting. So I give full credit to that particular process, which transformed me in ways that I can't even put it in words. And some I mean, now I shared few things. Already I'm thinking some people must be thinking I'm crazy. But there's so many things that I'm not sharing which will blow your mind. That happens in my life. Rather not tell the youngsters now. They have to come to a certain age to experience another realm that is magical, which I touch and come back, touch and come back. Anyways, I'll not go there because it's not practical for your audiences. So yeah, after lunch, then I start, planning things, whether it's my husband's work, that I'm a director in his companies, that work, or the work I do with Likita, and then few launches are in the pipeline, and going to ACOM, planning the curriculums, meeting the teachers, and most of the things happen on Zoom calls and phone calls. But that's the best thing which happened to physically. I don't have to be present anywhere. At home, in the comfort of my home, with my two dogs, next to me, I can just get everything done. Sometimes I have to personally go to my school and all of that, but otherwise, I'm working out of home, and I have an office space in my husband's office. He was kind enough to give me a large space, and I go work out of that space. If I have meetings, I have people coming there and meeting me, and that's it. And even when I was designing, I was very particular that after 6:30, nobody calls me. No matter the sky is falling apart, because what will fall apart? If at all my studio is on fire, that's when probably my driver or my cook or my chef who's in the house, they will get a call. But no one dare call me after 6:30, because that is my personal time with my child or with my husband or with my dogs. So you have to set boundaries if you want a peaceful life, and you shouldn't stretch yourself too much to disturb your peace of mind. And I've realized I can do the same amount of work with all these boundaries in place, probably more. Because most of the time I feel people are busy in their minds. Here you're busy and you feel like I have this to do, I have this to do, I have that to do. You, by the time you're like recollecting what all you have to do, you are, riling yourself up. So once you have everything in its own place, you pick up one, address this, finish this job, put it back, then you pick up another one. So there's a certain kind of organized thought process that happens when you have strong boundaries, even with your staff or workforce, or like even your friendships. And another thing I want to share is everybody in my friend circle knows that 10:30 they'll be kicked out of my house. So because everyone in Hyderabad, the day starts at 10. I mean, what even day means, like whatever, the whole vibe starts at 10:30. They start going out, and then God knows when they come back home and sleep. I'm not addressing it, at you. But generally, that's the culture in Hyderabad. 10:30 they come out of the houses. 10:30 I'm asking people to leave. So even with my friends, they know if I have to go to Shilpa's house, I have to go at 6:30, have dinner, and then we're allowed to stay there only till 10:30. So I have to make another plan to go to another place after 10:30. It's not like, okay, 10:30 tarvata, I have to make another plan, because Shilpa's time, and Shilpa Preetham is my husband, their time is only 10:30. Maximum they'll stretch it to 12 o'clock if there's a birthday in the family. So these are the boundaries you have to set for yourself to stay healthy, to be disciplined, to desire a life of balance and all of that.
This is really great, and I really understand where you're coming from, and I also believe that you have come here after so many learnings yourself, right? So many experiences, so many learnings, and the best part is we all experience things, right? We all do. I'm 24 years old. I do experience life in ways that life can teach me, and we all differently experience life.
Right.
But I feel that there are very few people who learn from their life. As in, let's say there's some experience that I've just had, right? You were taken aback, or you felt happy, or whatever. I feel most of them, when they feel this experience, they don't go back and introspect, right? They just feel it, they're happy in that moment, and that's it. That experience stops it. Right. They don't try to learn anything from that experience. They move on to the next experience.
Right.
But I feel that what I have been doing and what you are doing actually is you experience something and you're introspecting. Right. Each and every detail of it. And I feel you become wiser only when you introspect your experience.
Absolutely.
Just by experience, you can never learn. You have to introspect it. You have to put it into words. You have to understand what went wrong, the why did it happen, what can I do better the next time, and how can I make others also do this, in some way or the other, if you really want to, if you have that.
If you care for that person,
Right,
yes.
right. So this is what I have always been thinking. Now that you mentioned, your life has been a journal of introspection. But I'm sure, to lighten up the conversation, you were not this before.
No.
Right? You have been the younger Shilpa. And one thing that first thing that I really want to tell you is, I feel Suman TV, there's this interview channel, Suman TV. I feel that they have this personal, I don't know, probably they have a coupon code where they are bringing you every month, and I felt like if you're just talking with them, then when are you going to talk to us? I feel that, and most of the things you've already spoken to them. No, I genuinely feel,
Swapna is
I'm like, oh, okay,
friend.
Malli, she's again, oh, okay, great. And of course, you pick up a topic and you talk about it for another 50 minutes, which is amazing, right? We'll get back to understand the younger Shilpa, because I want to understand how that journey has happened.
Right.
And one thing that I did not understand even after watching most of your podcasts, interviews, and the great work that you have done with sustainable living with Shilpa Reddy. I think one thing that I didn't understand is how Shilpa, when she was younger.
Okay.
Right?
You were not born then.
Yeah, I know. And I hope YouTube videos would help me, but it did not. So I want to understand how were you before?
Okay.
What has shaped you? What the kind of relationship that you have shared with your parents back then, or with your grandparents back then? Because you have highly spoken about your grandparents and the way you love old people.
You watched everything.
Yeah, I've taken 4 days. I've binge watched, and most of my friends, they know that I hate web series. I can't make myself sit and watch.
Right.
Other than the great documentaries that I've watched about Planet Earth and all of that. Apart from those documentaries, I've never sat and watched a web series because I don't have that patience. But I have binged watched everything that you have spoken till date.
I'm humbled actually.
Right, and it took me 4 days. Let me be very clear, and there's still many videos that I did not cover.
Okay.
Right, because I thought most of the things are redundant,
Right.
the same things you have spoken. So
I think most of my years they were only talking about designing. So.
Now it got really interesting. But having said that, I want to go back to your journey. I want everyone here to experience that. Take us back.
Right.
And you're a great storyteller, so I would love to.
So, I was black sheep of the family. I wanted more than what my parents were willing to give me. I wanted to negotiate more than what they could ever think of giving me. And my thoughts were like that. My sister was very strong. At the same time, she was very obedient. And I was a rebel, meaning I loved going out and meeting people, like having different experiences. But coming from a very conservative family, my father was very strict, meaning like he had 2 good-looking daughters, and of course, I'm sure he has a reason to, fear. So he literally, like every day, 5 o'clock, you have to be home, and I was not allowed to go to any birthday parties or nowhere. So I felt very suffocated, and I felt I had so much more potential than they're allowing me to express. So I had, like for about few years, I had a very, love-hate kind of relationship with my dad. And my mother is the only one who understood me, but she was powerless. Okay. So I wanted more from life, and even many of them might be knowing. Maybe the younger generation do not know that I contested in my school, college, and everywhere I went. I just kept winning the pageants.
Okay. When did you start, by the way? Like, when was the first time you have entered a pageant?
When I was 16.
Okay.
And I was Miss Andhra Pradesh.
Oh.
When Telangana was not bifurcated as yet, so the whole Telangana Andhra used to be called as Andhra Pradesh. So there was this contest when I was in my 11th grade called Miss Andhra Pradesh, and I really wanted to take part in that. For me, pageants were not about beauty, because I always looked at them as if it was a crash course to fine tune yourself. Like you present yourself in the most perfect way, not perfect but sophisticated way, like the way you sit, talk, walk, eat, address yourself, dress up, I feel it's like a crash course to fine tune yourself, become aesthetic, the way you speak to everything. So I loved that idea about presenting myself in the most sophisticated manner. So for me, pageants was that for me, not like just feeling good about myself and walking the ramp. That was never my idea of a pageant. And then I felt like pageants are looking at the entire personality, and then they're giving you that crown because you're not just beautiful, but you're also your personality is good.
You're well spoken.
Yeah, because since childhood, sorry, I'm very animated, so since childhood, I was only like, oh, you're good looking, you're good looking, you're good looking. I'm like, damn it, you see behind that. Like, that was something I felt I have to prove. I think it comes from there. I don't want you to look at me as just a physical form, which is, good looking.
The body, right.
So I strived really hard to I became like my I contested for my head girl position at the school. I became a group leader, and I was trying to show my ability so people forget how I look and then focus on what I do, and that was something that I grew up with. And I knew these pageants would applaud that part. And I wanted to contest, but then my mother was powerless, and then she became a confidant later. I said, like, please allow me. Then she said, okay, fine, I'll not tell your dad. You go do your contest, and I'll cover up for you. And then she said she went for her friend's wedding, and then I went, and then I won the contest. And then after that, fathers are always happy and proud once you achieve something. So that's how it all started. And then I knew I have the potential, to do certain things that my parents are not allowing. I fought, there were so many fights in the family and all of that, and somehow I convinced them to let me go to Canada to study fashion. And once I left home, I was 19, and that was the first time I left India. And I didn't even know how to use a vending machine. I'm like, damn it, where should I put the coin? What should I press if I want that bar? It was like that. I was very young. I was 19, and I went to Canada. For the first time, I left the country alone, all by myself. But I said, I want to get out of this place. And there were battles, and my mother stood by me, and then she felt like, I will be happy only when I can explore myself and, live with my full potential. I felt constrained and shackled. That was how I grew up. My teens were very troubled, meaning troubled in the sense not in a way that trouble, but wanting to find full expression of my potential. So I went to Canada. It was another world. I think I've understood and I've explored and kind of got to know who I am without shadowing of the parents. And I lived a life that I'm very grateful to my parents to have sent me. Because I studied fashion, yes, I got a great exposure, but also I've learned who I am. That's when the introspection started. Because you're all by yourself, your food you have to plan, your commute you have to plan, you have to pay your telephone bill, and you have to do your projects, and you're fighting with your roommate, and then so many things happen. When you're living alone, there's so many things that you have to deal on your own without your parents doing it all for you. Clean, pick up the garbage, wash your dishes, so much. That's when the whole introspection, contemplation started, because you're with yourself, all by yourself, and then you're planning, you're thinking, you're understanding your strengths, you're understanding your weaknesses, and how people perceive you, not just Indians, but how outside people are perceiving you. You get a general idea as to where you stand, what potential you have, where you lack, something that you think you have to build upon. So this is like a little life crash course that happened in Canada, and I was mugged one day. I was, I didn't share this with anybody. I don't know why I'm doing it with you. I used to work in a restaurant called Golden Grill. It's a 24-hour restaurant in a very notorious area. It was it was like those back streets where people are drugged, and all these backstreet fellows are there. I took an apartment there because that was the cheapest. Anyways, in that time, you're 19, you feel invincible, you can do anything, you can handle anything. So I used to work night shifts, and this guy came, and I think he was completely doped, or I don't know what he was on, some chemical he was on, and I was the cashier. I opened the cashier machine, and then that he had, I don't think he had a gun, but he just pushed me to the wall and grabbed all the cash from the cashier, the cash counter, and then like I just went and like fell apart. I mean, fell on the. There was a bar, like a little cabinet of the bar. I just went fell. And then immediately I have to like really call the police. I called 911, then the police came. All that stories happened. So, but it was fun. Like, I mean, luckily nothing happened. I was not harmed. But I would have never lived a life like that. Like coming so close to danger and like having the presence of mind to act and see next what should I do? Like, what should I do? And at that time I didn't have a permit to work because all these students will work under the table, like the $12 per hour, whatever, 15, I can't even remember. I'm like, if police aake social security number puche to like where the hell am I going to bring the number from? So I was praying, please, they should not ask me my social security number. So, these are the things that really, nourish you as a person, and then you'll know what not to do. And later I worked for a scam company as a tele operator. I didn't know that was a company that was doing scams. I was supposed to call and there was a script I was supposed to read it out. And then later, one fine day I went to work and then the damn office was shut. I'm like, why? It's Tuesday. Then there were police all around. Like, oh my God. I didn't even know that company was a scam. Like I was 20 there, for God's sake. And that is in 2001. Like now we're in 2026. 26 years back and no phones. I used to have a calling card, like scratch that calling card, then the number would come and I would call my parents and 15 minutes, tuck, 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 it used to cut off. So there is no, like a cell phone.
No connectivity, like no connectivity that we have
there's no
today.
Zoom calls, nothing. So it was not like, today mothers will say, Amma, okay, if you don't know how to cook, she'll say, okay, dal, this dal, you put it, it's so convenient. So it was a beautiful time wherein I had to like look into myself for every answer, every decision, every choice that I made. Those 3 years in Canada, probably I felt I grew 10 years.
Wow.
So that was my turning point. So I'm ever grateful for my parents for trusting me and sending me for my studies in Canada all by myself. After that, I built upon it because, I've seen the world, I've experienced the good, bad. Most of the things that my mother doesn't know, I think she will know through your podcast now that I was mugged.
One thing that I really want to tell now is, again, this is out of topic. Take that, Suman TV. I got better content. Take that. Because I really felt that, do you have a subscription model? Like, every
she's
month
a dear friend.
I know. She's wonderful. I've seen most of her other work as well. She's like, why is every video, 1 month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, I'm like, okay, I understand, you have your circle.
I have to do one more also now.
Right, privilege of being friends. But take that, Suman TV. But having said that, one thing that I've seen with many people, and of course, people who leave India and go to some other place for studies or work, they get into the space of loneliness because they don't find their tribe. I want to understand, did you also face any kind of, issues as in settling in, or did you have any dark days when you were in Canada, where you couldn't find your tribe and you wanted to go back India?
No.
That kind of
I was happy to leave India. I was like, the moment I entered the airport, I didn't even turn back to say bye to my parents. I'm like, freedom! I wanted to break free. Because as I told you, I wanted to explore myself, no matter how hard I had to work for it. So that was the passion. I mean, I don't know where it came from, but for me, like, I felt where I was living was like stifling me, it was like shackling me. Once I went there, I felt like the world is mine.
Right.
The world is mine, and I barely hung out with Indian, people. I wanted to explore and learn how a Canadian thinks, how a Russian person thinks. Because my school, since it's a fashion school, I mean, you don't have the typical large group of Indian, students coming and studying fashion, right? I was like so hungry to learn and taste their food and how they think, their festivals. So this curiosity is something that I had. That's why I say I'm like greedy for life. I want to know your culture, my culture. I want to see how you eat, how you dress up, what your marriage culture is, like how your ceremonies are done. I want to understand, I want to learn about meditation, like yoga and different new kind of pranayama, breath. So if you tell me this works for this, I'm like, let me learn. So for me, it was like the more variety you give me, I get very excited and I just want to take it in. I feel I'm just living it.
And then happened your then you got married.
Yes.
At 21, you've mentioned.
22 and a half.
Right.
Like let's say
right,
22.
right.
Yeah.
So I want to understand, you've studied and then, probably what happens in a very stereotypical manner is once you complete your studies abroad, you start working and probably once you're done working and then you come back home. So I want to understand that part after your studies, what happened? How is Shilpa doing?
After studies, like my parents will send picture number 2, picture number 3, picture number 4.
Okay.
Because, obviously they're, parents who are worried and then your daughter is all by herself in Canada and Reddy family, very conservative society. So studies ho gaya, now marriage. So pictures used to come every second week, one picture used to come, no.
Right.
Then I found this wonderful man and I knew he was the one. And fortunate, I think this is what manifestation is all about. I did everything in my power to live ethically, put in my 100%, like push my boundaries to become a better person. And I kept asking for someone who understands me, like someone who can give me the freedom to express myself in my full potential.
The most unapologetic man.
Yeah, and someone, who respects me for who I am, but not like a typical vibe, whatever, what I'm saying. I'm not saying this is good or bad, this is what I wanted for my life.
Right.
I'm sure many people would love a beautiful marriage and then they're happy to just, stay home, make a good homemaker, and then, whatever, be traditional,
Nourish
all
the
of
relationship
that.
that you
Nothing
want.
wrong. This is what I wanted for my life. And like how universe answers your calls and power of manifestation, I guess. Found this wonderful person and the family is so broad-minded. My mother-in-law, when she was young, studied in LA fashion. She did fashion designing in LA. And my aunts, my husband's aunts were so progressive, like they used to ride bullets, in Nizamabad, and they used to wear bell bottoms, and my sister-in-law was already acting at that point in some films. And my husband, very, very, very liberal family where there was no difference how they treated a woman or a man. In fact, women were given more freedom to do whatever they wanted to do. So I'm like, wow, is this for real? A Reddy family or some other family? And my mom said, this is perfect for you. Please, beta, because don't reject this one person.
Right.
Because I was like left, right and center rejecting. I'm like, no.
Right.
And my mother always knew my choice. And then she knew I wouldn't be happy if I'm again, put in a box and asked me, if I was asked to do this and not this, then I would want to do that. So she knew it will not last if I find someone like that for her. So this was perfect. So my life started after marriage.
Right. One thing that I really loved about your interviews, this is one thing that I've loved the most, out of many great things that you've mentioned. One thing that I really loved is you mentioned a part, it's an interview, I can't recollect the host, but you told that, this kind of freedom that I've gotten, I did not get it because it was handed over to me. I got it because I've earned that.
Correct.
Right? Because I've earned that trust.
Absolutely.
Right? Because most of the times, I'll be very honest, there might be people who would be given this freedom and they might not use it the way it was intended to. Right? And you told that the onus is onto us on how are we building on that trust as well.
Absolutely.
Because the day you break that trust, you wouldn't have that freedom. And when I say you wouldn't have that freedom, doesn't mean that someone is giving you that freedom. I mean that support.
Yes.
Right? Because you can do, you're an individual person, and today we can't tell anyone not to do something or the other.
Right.
It's all their personal choice. But it comes down whether when you're doing something that you love, your people are supporting you or not. And
that strength is something else.
Yeah, and if those kind of people in your life, the most important ones, if they have supported you, that means you have earned that trust. They knew, for the matter of fact, that Shilpa is this and she knows how to handle stuff, right? And
Absolutely.
you did it so wonderfully, and I think that's why you have that support, right?
Absolutely. I see, there's, again, I don't know where I read it, but freedom comes with responsibility.
Right.
You know, you can't, you know, if you don't show that you're responsible, freedom is not given to you by your own parents or, you know, your family. Like, you need to see that this person is responsible, only then it will be given. You just can't give freedom if the person is not showing any signs of responsibility.
You have to earn it.
Yeah. So you have to own it. You have to constantly reassure, or, you know, show it through your actions, or you know, how you you know, apply that into your life. Only then you will have the freedom that you want.
Right. And the support system.
Support
comes
system.
along,
Freedom
right?
is not like, yeah, like like how you rightly said. It's that's the support of the family, which will cheer for you, which will, you know,
which will further push you forward.
absolutely, yeah.
Mm.
And relations, like, there is, I'm sure you must be knowing that most of the humans fall apart because they have no good relations in life. Not because they don't have money, not because the health is bad, but majority of the human beings go into depression when their relations get affected. So as human beings, we need those grounding, strong relations to do anything in life. Once that, you know, you have that strong relationships in a form of a friend or a grandfather, grandmother, whatever it is, that strength that you get from a relationship will propel you to achieve so much in life.
Right. That's really wonderful, and I think this has been my high, you know, when I've gone through your interview, because this is a much debated topic today. What is women supposed to be doing or not supposed to be doing? And there's so much of content out there when it comes down to this part, you know, the feminism part and all of that.
I'm not a feminist, by the way.
Yeah, I understand. You also mentioned it. I've seen all the interviews.
Okay.
Yeah, so, you know, I really love that aspect, because I believe this world would be a better place if you, I mean, this one particular debate, the whole debate of what women are supposed to do or not do, I think that would come to a conclusion when you understand that it's your responsibility to build that trust as well. Right. It's everyone's responsibility. Even for, I mean, it applies to a man as well.
Man also, yeah, exactly. I was just going to say that.
Yeah, because you can't expect your women. Okay, so there's this one thing my mom taught me, that see, you can't expect a woman to be Sita if you're not Ram. Right? My mom tells me this.
Yeah.
Right? And are you Ram? I mean, okay, fine, you get a Sita. I get it. You want it. I mean, you want someone like her.
I want to meet your mother.
Yeah, and she's like, are you a Ram? Look at yourself. You know, introspect. Look at yourself. Are you Ram? Are you behaving like that man? You know, Maryada Purushottam that we call. Are you that? If you're that, then you can go for Sita. You know, try to find a Sita for yourself.
Right.
But if you're not that man, you have no right to find a Sita. You have no right to ruin someone's life if you're not Ram, right? And I really love that fact that, okay, she knows that, you know, she has to build that trust to be this. She just can't say that I'm a girl and, you know, I'm a woman and I want to do this, and you have no right to stop me. Right? She also understands that responsibility, and applies to man as well. And now that I've spoken about relationship, we'll get into relationships next. How do we nourish a relationship?
So don't breathe on your partner's neck all the time. You know, you need space. You know, the moment you want to control someone's life, saying that I'm the husband, I'm the wife, I take the decisions in the house, you just have to follow, then it's not partnership, it is like hierarchy. So that has to be removed from a relationship first. So treat each other as individuals, having different opinions, having different likes, different perspectives, different beliefs, but still we respect each other. I will let you grow, you let me grow. But when we do something together, we're fully there together. Yeah, and sometimes you're upset. If I know what is the cause of your upset, I have to step back. Though you're wrong, I will step back and then just listen. Like, I'll just give you a listening ear and a crying shoulder. Though I know you're like ranting or like being irrational, but if I know the source of your, you know, like agony or frustration, then I am that partner for you who will absorb all of that. And then when you start absorbing, that person automatically calms down. When you start, you know, trying to justify yourself, saying that even I have my problems, even I face this, so then where is the peace? Like, it'll become like your problem is bigger or my problem is bigger. Even I want to be heard, It's not like one time you do it, one time you do it. Then find that quiet space and slowly say, like, that time, you did all of that, but then you were so irrational. I'm sorry, I couldn't say it to you then, but I'm saying it to you now. Be honest again. Don't keep getting absorbing, because you're not trying to fool that person saying that you're right. You observe at that time, but also help him or her know that they're being irrational and they were like just frustrated and they were just venting out, but it was not needed. The reaction was not valid. Say it to them at a sensitive moment when they're ready to receive it, not when they're agitated and you're trying to pick on them and trying to validate your point of view or trying to bring your like you're also going through something, but then that's not the time you have to bring that up. So when you live with each other, you start understanding their patterns, right? You probably your partner will understand your pattern better than you would understand your own pattern. Sorry, pattern. Yeah. So be honest. Don't pretend. Don't ఇప్పుడు పోయి మాట్లాడాలా, like do I have to go address this and confront it, like I'll save my time, I'll just go on my reels. No, you have to address that. Then slowly the partnership builds, the trust builds, and then okay, then you start trusting the person that okay, you tolerated that, though you felt that, you gave me room to express myself, vent out my anger or frustration or joy. I'm not saying any emotion. So give space for each other to express. Don't be in a competition to say even I did this, even I had this, I also faced this, I'm also doing this. Don't, even though you're doing it, don't say it then, say it another time. So this has to be like this is what partnership is all about. Finding the right moment to express love, finding the right moment to absorb what other person is going through, trauma or frustration or disappointment, but again finding the time to be honest and say this is what I felt. That communication is the key. Most of the couples I've seen, confrontation they don't like, and they're so fearful about confronting. You have to confront. Only then the conversations will come out, and then you will probably know something new about the person. Most of the time, women, I'm telling you, I've seen this a lot. Women has this tendency to want men to understand them without them talking about it. Like they'll be going through so much, and then they will expect the man to understand. And the poor man doesn't know what the hell is happening in a woman's mind, because women are very complicated. Every 10 days our hormones are changing. So today you feel a certain way, or or whatever, in between your cycle you feel a certain way, towards the end of the cycle you feel a certain way. So we are a roller coaster of emotions. And then it is impossible for a man to understand a woman if the woman doesn't speak up and say, this is what I'm feeling, I need help. That's when a lot of issues start. I'm not saying this is right or this is wrong. This is how we are made. Don't assume, or don't expect men to assume that this is what you're feeling. So you sit down and talk. This is that postpartum depression, or like PMS. So we react, right? But we never sit a man down and say, this is what is happening, I want your support. Then a man would definitely understand. I'm not saying women are wrong, but we don't communicate. We fear confrontation or communication, or we just shun ourselves. So the more the communication in a relation, the more honesty, I think the relationships will flourish. You become friends. You should be able to speak about every damn thing under the sky. But at the same time, you can also have your spaces, and you don't have to tell everything to your husband, or the husband doesn't have to tell everything to your wife. Because not everything needs to be told to everybody, or even your spouse. There could be areas like if you have a girls, group, and you're having a great time, you have some common jokes. You don't have to come and tell your husband what the jokes that you had with his, girlfriends, or their issues that they have, or whatever. I'm just saying. This is an example. Oh, because you have to tell everything to your husband tomorrow. Don't go and tell your husband every damn thing. So it is confrontation and communication has to be there. And even in my family recently, something happened, and then this person was talking to me, and said no. I asked, did you tell him? She's like, no, what to tell, it's become very difficult to talk to him. I said, like, what do you mean you didn't tell? Does he know this is how you're feeling? No, he doesn't know, because he's always busy. I'm like, you sit him down and tell, I'm sure he'll understand. So nobody is a bad person in a relationship. It is just that you need communication. Communicate. Now you see, you will solve so many problems, or else you will start imagining things. You will start, creating your own world. This is why he said this to me. I'm sure this is how he's feeling about me. He doesn't care about me, or she doesn't care about me. You are making stories and stories and stories in your mind, and you start believing they are true, and then you start showing that resentment towards the other person, and that person doesn't know why you're showing this resentment, because this story that you're making in your mind, you're believing it. But when you sit down and talk, you could be so wrong, and the person might say something that will blow your mind. I'm like, damn it, this is what I thought. This is not at all what I thought it was. So communication, and you see how your relations will flourish. Even my friendships, okay, I have had many, we have had many fights, like some of our friends, we had major fights. We didn't talk for 6 months, 2 months, and then slowly one messaging. Then we said, like, oh, come on, let's sit down and talk, and then everything smoothened out. Because again, I was imagining, because there was a distance, there was a distance in between. We kind of got separated, and then we went off into 2 different cities. So the communication was less, and then I started imagining something. Oh, she must be busy. Then that's why she's not calling. She started thinking that she's ignoring me. And then it's been 6 months, nobody's messaging, and then slowly, how are you, whatever. And then we realized we were making our own stories in our head and believing those were true. But when we sat down and spoke, it was like a comedy show. Like, it was a joke that, like we were building some nonsense in our heads and then affecting our relationship. It happens with friends also. So sort out things, the sooner the better.
I feel most of the relationship issues, most of the issues that we get personally, I feel it's because we are living in our minds.
Absolutely.
We are living
assuming.
In our minds.
Stories we are very good story makers in our heads.
we just keep on assuming. We live in that, in that brain of ours, and that wouldn't be the case otherwise, and things happen. But I feel this was a crash course on relationship, and
even with your parents, I've done that.
Right. No, I love the fact that you mentioned the power of confrontation.
Yeah.
Many people do not understand.
They get scared.
I mean, if there's one thing that I could talk to, let's say, 10 million people sitting in the audience, and I would want to talk about one single thing, I'd talk about this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the power of confrontation.
Communication and confrontation.
Yeah, because effective communication with confrontation, I think this will sort out everything that you go through. And there are many, instances that I've experienced myself in my life when it comes to confrontation, and things have changed. Things have changed so much, and I really love the word itself. Confrontation. I really love this word. But having said that, you were talking about how you spoke to your parents, because of course, when you come from a conservative family,
right,
to break down, I'm sure. You mentioned that your mother understood you, but then she later became that confidante to you, right? And before she wasn't, and probably your father also became your confidant
now,
later.
I'll tell you how that relationship.
So I want to understand that part, how.
So as I told you, like love hate relation with my father, and I was not that close to a certain point, and I felt like I could have done more had he, encouraged me. I would have achieved more had he let me do this. That was always there. And then once I got married, I did a landmark course. Have you heard of landmark course?
No.
Landmark is a beautiful course that will, again, dig deep into your psyche and then help you understand your patterns and your fears and all of that. So I did that course after I got married. And then in that, they helped me look at me from my father's shoes. So that was something that I was holding as a grudge, or that relation was not as smooth.
A resentment.
Yeah, resentment, and I felt like he stopped my growth. Whatever, like you imagine things. And it was all. I was just 20, 22 at that time. Though I got married and I was happy and all of that, but my relationship with my father didn't heal as yet. And so when I did this course, they had a role play on the stage. And then I imagined my father in that role play, and then me as the person who has this conflict in my mind and so much friction happening in my mind. stories I told myself, a disappointment I built in myself. And then they showed a perspective through that role play. And then I've seen my father looking at me. And then, as a father, what was he seeing? He has a responsibility to get these two daughters married. He wants to get these daughters married to good homes without having any kind of mishappenings, or like you have these love marriages, or like broken relationships, or in those days, and especially coming from a conservative family, and the girl has to get married by 23, 24 max, okay, and he has to find a good home, he has to protect them, and he's doing everything in his power with the limited or whatever knowledge that he has gained from his grandfather or father or uncles, that he has he grew up in a certain kind of society. This is all he knows. He's been a great father. He provided for us. He gave it a great life. In fact, my father is the only one who left the village and came, and he's the only one in his brothers who taught his daughters how to drive. We were allowed to wear Western clothes. So for him, we were taught swimming.
He was liberal, right.
For him, he is a liberal father.
In his own circle.
And he's doing the best that he can do as a father. I wanted more. But he's doing the best he is doing. From his point of view, he's doing nothing wrong. He's just protecting his daughter. So I'm like, why? Like, if that's what he is, then it's me, right? I want more. That's all he can do. That's all he can give, and he's doing 100%. So I shouldn't have any resentment towards him. So that came as a breakthrough for me. And I'm like, oh my God, like, what am I? Like, I'm just like making excuses. Like, if I want to do something, I can do even now. Right. If I want to show myself my potential or prove myself, I can do even now. I'm just 22. Like, I can build my life from this point on. No point sitting and thinking, my father didn't let me, my father didn't allow me. Yeah, I could have been something. Like, I was just, like whining. Literally whining in my head. And the breakthrough happened, and then I broke down. Like, when I saw that, play enact in front of on the stage, it's something hit me. That's how the course is designed. It's a beautiful course. And then I called my father and apologized and went home. I said, like, this is what I was holding. That's why I could never really hug him also properly, because that was so strong. Then I broke down, I cried, and they cried. It was such a beautiful moment of healing. And since then, we are great now. I'm glad that healing happened so early, or else I've seen people holding the resentment till the day they die.
I second that.
Resentment towards their parents, resentment towards their brothers or in-laws, or I've seen relations never heal. But if the relations don't heal, you will never progress and evolve, because that one part is always pulling you down. You're not liberated. That day I was liberated, and it was like a clean slate, and that healing happened, and I built upon that now. So it's important to heal your relations, because you think you are living a great life, but then somewhere deep down it will never let you progress and evolve. So heal your relations as soon as you can.
In India, we often hear about Papa Ki Pari, that term, right? I really feel it's not true for us in India, especially, because every ambitious woman has always had the first villain that they call is their own father. Because fathers have that protection tendency, that protectiveness, and probably this is wrong and that is right, because they have not experienced the kind of life that you're experiencing right now.
And they grew up in that patriarchal family setup, right?
But yes, I believe, and you also mentioned about space, giving space to each other. I believe most of us don't give that space to our partners, or to anyone for that matter, for them to grow. We accept a certain version of themselves, but we don't accept the changed version of themselves, or the evolved version of themselves.
Changing version also.
Yeah, we don't give that space at all. कल तो okay बोला था ना, तो आज क्यों? That's something very wrong that I see. I feel that people evolve. Right? 1 year, your friend might be completely different person after a year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you just need to give them that space to grow, because if you don't give that space, they will leave you. Right? right? Because just when they know that I'm unable to grow here, they will consciously they might not know, but the distance will be there, and you will
Definitely.
slowly drift away. So I make sure that I've always given people space in their life.
Right.
I was never too nosy. I tell them, "Acha, all right, okay," because I know they're growing, and you have to give that space, and you
absolutely.
have to understand that not everyone can understand your point.
Right.
You might be 100% right. Right, you might be right, and by God's faith and all that, you can be correct, but it's just that for the validation of our correctness, we sometimes push other people, which is terrible.
Yeah, they might not be ready for that push.
Right. So I feel that, but thank you so much for sharing a lot, and the couple of things that I really want to
And
talk
one more
about.
thing before we finish the relationships part, there's too much of suspicion and in the relation these days. They don't trust each other. I've seen, I don't want to take name, but in my family only, apparently they have to leave the computer on the whole night so they know that nobody is in the room. I'm like, what? What craziness is this? And constantly, where are you? Send your location, send your photograph. I'm like, if you don't trust your partner, it is so scary to get into a relation. Why would you want to know where you are? Okay, you're with that person. Okay, send me the picture of that person, or send me your live location.
You also have that friend?
I don't have. The younger generation, I'm like, oh, this is how the relations are these days. I'm like, I'm so sorry for you guys. So I've seen that happen. So, when you start off a relation with suspicion or, worry, then it's bound to fall apart. It is bound to fall apart. So, without trust, a relationship can never go forward. And you shouldn't breathe down someone's neck all the time. Sometimes women want to do something that the man doesn't need to know, or a man want to hang out with few friends that he doesn't need to tell a woman. It's okay. It's okay. Don't have to tell everything to everyone and then take approval from each other. So that little space, if you give, the relation really works beautifully.
And flourishes.
Yeah. And also being centered within yourself. I've seen men who control their wives or don't let them go out or have many restrictions are someone who are not centered within themselves. When a man is lets a woman flourish and cheers for her and applauds her and sees her grow, are someone who's so deeply rooted. That's
secure.
Secure, very secure. So most of the men I see are not secured. I mean, it's happening the other way around also, but it comes from their own personal insecurities. Yeah, not constantly wanting to know where you're going, what you're doing. It just feels so uncomfortable when someone doesn't trust you at all. So that should not seep into the relationship before we end the relationship.
Right. But yes, having said that, I have really important questions that I have to ask. First is I want to understand how was pageantry back then when you were, when you participated in the pageant and won. Everyone again, she has won Mrs. India pageant in 2004.
I think so.
2004. I've read it. If I'm saying anything wrong, it's because of the interviews.
Okay.
Probably the other host is, wrong, not me. But yes, having said that, I want to understand how was pageantry back then. I want to understand the whole aspect of, what kind of competitions or what kind of rounds were you.
It was very, very interesting then. I don't know, pageantry was taken very seriously, and some amazing women came out of these pageants at that time. Correct. Now it's diluted because there's some India International, India Australia International, Indo Western International. There's so many that sprouted out. It just diluted the whole scene. Before it was just this glad rags Mrs. India, Femina Miss India, and that's about it. And then even on the world platform, there was Miss Universe, Miss World, Miss Asia Pacific, and that's it. And every year we would just wait to look at these amazing women,
the great talent that comes.
So it was very, it was looked at with a different respect altogether. Now it's not the same, is what I feel, because there are too many that started coming out. Pageant, the Mrs. India one was exactly like Miss India, but for women who are married. Because I I lost that window of contesting per Miss India because obviously I didn't have the permission from my parents. And then that longing and the longing was there, so I expressed that same longing to my family, and then they were like, I will get you a photographer,
Wow.
I will get you a designer. So the whole family
Right.
came together and then gave me everything, supported me, and then took me to Bombay, and it was this whole thing happened. But pageantry was respected, and there were some amazing women that came out of pageantry in those days.
Because I tried getting those archives videos and all that. I didn't get much. To be
I think I
honest.
have one or two videos. I'll
Yeah,
share if you
yeah.
want.
Understood. And probably this is the second question that I want to ask is, how did pageantry change you?
So pageantry was, as I mentioned, it was all about fine tuning myself and
And
presenting
opportunity,
myself
right.
aesthetically, right? So when I won, I wanted to show my parents, like, see, I had the potential to win on a national platform. And it was like that for me, and my family supported me.
Right.
So it was like that little, like a point where I like
take that.
I showed my parents that, like, see, I had the potential to
Right.
make it on a national level. That like little whatever that you want to prove yourself. It was great, and for me, it didn't change me much as a person, but it created a beautiful platform for me, and I held that platform with such sacredness. I'm using the word sacred because from that point on, I knew I have a space from where if I speak, people will listen. Okay, that I wanted that platform, and then I got it, and it is a sacred space. I've seen people winning pageants and then having that little fame of winning a pageant, and then 2-3 years people forget about them, and then it just
Right.
kind of
Fades up.
fades away. But I kept that and then built upon it. That's a kickstart. That's like
Right.
that's like a benchmark year for me, which changed my trajectory from being a person on the street to somebody who found a platform where, from if I speak, if I say something effectively, people will notice. So that responsibility, I took it very seriously. I call it sacred because now I can say what I want to say, and that too with a responsible voice. So since then I started talking about I did some campaigns like polio campaigns, and then some I addressed, and I was a part of many social causes, and slowly people started understanding that like I have this side to myself. So they made me a director on some of the social cause ambassadors, director. I mean, it just started building, and then through that, again, I started designing. Then again, that helped me in Bombay because I modeled at the same place, and I'm also showing at the same place. I already knew some people in Bombay because I modeled for a few years. 3 years I modeled after my pageant. And then I knew all the designers, I knew the whole,
Ecosystem.
the ecosystem.
Yeah.
So then now I'm showing myself as a designer. So everything built upon this platform. So I call it a sacred platform that I earned for myself.
Right. So why I mean I've seen you working with different organizations, and Loshni Foundation is one that you're working, and you have campaigned heavily for Safe Soil as well with
Right.
Satguru as well. So this is an inevitable question. How is it with Satguru? What have you learned from Satguru?
I would have been a lost soul had I not found inner engineering, and I give a lot of credit to who I've become, to what he has taught me. And he's just personal. Like, I've heard so many of his conversations, and I aspire to be 0.5% of how he is. Like calm, composed, like energetic and effective in the world, yet so peaceful and so centered. So I just said, I'm a small outcrop from him. So I consider him as my guru, who has really enlightened me and made me look at life with wonder. Like everything I feel is so wonderful. Like that wonder is alive in me because of him. Just looking at everything with like eyes of an infant or a toddler. Everything is like kid in a candy store kind of a experience. That's how I feel I live with his practices and his teachings.
Mutual feeling that you have for Sadhguru, I have for you. But having said that, Shilpa, the best thing, of course, there are lots of best things about you, but one thing that I've noticed is you have never typecasted, right?
Meaning? In what
Typecasted
sense?
as in you were a model, but we don't look at you as a model today. You are into fashion designer, we don't look at you as a fashion designer today. You are into spirituality, you are not looked upon just because of your spiritual journey, right? So you've never typecasted for a certain role that you play.
Correct.
Or right, you've always reinvented yourself, and this is something that I really want to understand, because you take years to put up an image of yours, right? When 10 years later,
That's the problem.
Yeah, 10 years.
No, the moment
yeah.
you said image, that is the problem.
Right. No, I really want to understand that in depth, because for me, let's say next 2 years, I would want to be called as a podcaster,
Okay.
and in a euphoric sense, probably South India's best podcaster, right? That's what I want in the next 2 years. And after 2 years, there would be something else. There's something else that I would want to be known. But then you have achieved those places where where someone else would want to be there. But then every time you reach there, you change the course, right? And every time people feel like, okay, she'll go straight now, you take a left, and then you take a right? So I want to understand, how did you constantly reinvent yourself without being typecasted to belong to just one category and just do splendid works?
Drop all your identities. The moment you say this is what I am, I'm a designer, I'm a model, I'm Sadhguru's follower, I am entrepreneur. So if you take your labels very seriously, you get caught up in those. These are the things that I do in my life, but they're not the ones that define me as a person. These are the things that I've done in my life. Okay, and then
that's a byproduct.
Don't again, Sadhguru says this so beautifully. He says, the moment you drop your identities and sit here as a throbbing life, you're sitting here, Shilpa, Indian, Shilpa Reddy, designer, fashion, just sitting here as a throbbing life, like how a plant, how a dog is just there. It's a throbbing life, just living its life. And just dissolve all these identities that people have given you, or you have given them the impression that this is what you are. Once you drop all of those, you are not bound to keep up that image and try to work to keep it on. You're not performing anymore. You're wearing them so easily on your shoulders. Today you are this, tomorrow you are that, and tomorrow you want to become a different personality. You can don't become rigid and get attached to your roles. So this is another beautiful way he says, like, you wear mask. I wear a mask of a mother when I go in front of my son. I wear a mask of a wife. Whatever, like that roles, your boss, something else. Don't take it so seriously that the mask gets stuck on you and start believing that I have to be a mother, I'm only this way, I have to be. So that you have to wear your masks, but don't let the masks get stuck onto your face. Don't work to keep that image. It's not a performance. It's what people perceive. Okay, let them perceive however they want to perceive you, but you don't. You be easy in your body, have a flowing energy. You should be able to talk to a watchman the same way that you would be able to talk to a minister if you meet him. So for example, I'm just saying this, how this happens and how you can cultivate it. Like if I go to an airport, just say I'm crossing through security and there's a woman who's frisking me. I just take some time, look into her eyes and say, how was your day today? Aapka shift kab shuru hua? Like something like that. Just a normal conversation, madam, subah 4 o'clock aaye. Then I say, like, how do you come to work? They say, bus lagate, madam. Bus, kitne log bus? Ye pure gaon mein, like, all the nearby villages, all the women, they have an arranged, the GMR,
the
company arranges for a bus. I say, oh, tum log ka night shift hai, abhi next kaun aayega? So, just that little conversation when you have with somebody you absolutely do not know, you are closer to life and reality. Then you go hoity-toity, I'm Shilpa Reddy, like, like that, and like, okay. If you have that, you carry that, that your identity upon you, you will not free flow in your life. Like I sit with and like I just even in the washroom, like someone is like, Amma konjam manchi clean cheyi. I say like clean the washrooms properly. Then I'll say, Mali again I'll talk to them, like mekkanundi, muredi, whatever. Like they are so happy. They're just like someone spoke to me and then someone really have an intention to talk to me. When it all started, I read somewhere that what is kindness? So they said if you give an odomos to a watchman who's sitting out in the night, that is kindness. That penetrated so deep inside me. I'm like, wait a second, it doesn't take too much to be kind. You don't have to be running a organization or like starting a NGO to be kind or empathetic. Show simple acts like these can make you a better person. And if you keep doing this little things, being nice to somebody, smiling at somebody, asking how their day went, genuinely listening to what they have to say, genuinely being empathetic towards them, even if it's a child, like if they lost a pencil or something, for that little child it's the biggest trauma. If you must be thinking, hey, chinna pencil poyindi, what is the big difference? But for his life, for this little brain, losing a pencil is losing a job. So when you can get down to their level and see the emotion with their perspective, you can be so close to life. Like living is that. Like living is being able to connect to everyone, coming down to their level, down or up. I'm not saying down means in a derogatory way. If it's a child, you have to see his trauma as the biggest trauma that you would face if you lose a house or a job. Like not dismiss it, like your problem could be this. For him, that small problem could be his biggest problem. So be empathetic. Don't wear your identities, and just walk around with that burden. Be a free flowing life. Be like water. You take shape. Water takes shape if you put it in a glass. It takes the shape of the bowl if it's put it in a bowl. So I constantly remind myself, and now it's become a second nature to like, I want to be fluid. Like wherever I go, I want to flow. And when I speak to a person, I'm not trying to impress the person. I want them to feel that they've been seen. You see the perspective? Like you're seeing from this angle and that angle. It's not like trying to make an impression. What impression are you going to make? Like today he'll remember you. What are you leaving that person with? Is he feeling joyful spending time with you? Is he feeling having a beautiful smile when he speaks to you? And he or she feels somebody has finally seen me, heard me, or cared about me. When you leave a person with that kind of feeling, labels don't matter. You're just a throbbing life trying to do the best as a human being. That's all I feel.
That's really wonderful because I also preach the same. I tell people that don't be something today that you can't be tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. You can't
that
pretend.
Image building,
Yeah,
that whole
you
nonsense.
can't pretend to be the best person today because one day that mask will fall off.
Yeah.
And, they'd know you and that will be horrible. Right. So I always tell people that be someone that you can be for a longer period of time, so that you don't have to act and do that pretension show every day and wake up to that same burden that now I have to smile again.
That's been happening on social media. Influencer, but that influencer is also. I've seen that influencing is not that people should get influenced. Seeing you do something consistently and ethically and authentically. But every day you want to like look like a certain kind of influencer and making that look like a performance. That is sad, but it is happening. I can see an image and say like this is like completely orchestrated.
Right.
So that's a good question about identity because people really don't know. They have to work so hard to keep up that identity. It's like
they have to pretend. Every day you have to pretend. Oh my God. There was a space where I've seen people who are not themselves, and oh my God, they have to do that repeatedly, and it's so taxing. You don't feel energized at all
because you're attached to that identity,
right?
And you have to work and hard to keep that image and then not get disturbed. Why the hell? Like today you're like this, tomorrow you're like this. You like this and you like this also. Why does it have to be only one image about you? You can be a colorful person, vibrant person with so much variation. And people get confused. Suddenly I'm like, like in the gym, lifting heavy weights, and suddenly I'm sitting and crying in front of my Devi. Suddenly I'm like, doing a photo shoot in my bikini, and suddenly I'm like, wearing a Kanjivaram Pattu sari. So, like, you don't define yourself to be one way. Why do you have to be one way? You can be anything you want to be. You can explore, and you don't have to constantly keep an image and then keep working at it and stress the hell out of yourself.
Right. I have the last question. I want to understand you've been working towards sustainable living, right? And you have been doing a lot of many other things. You're a brand ambassador at Roshni Foundation and all of that. So I want to understand what space are you in currently? What are you building right now? When you go back and you say that I work, what do you work on?
Now I can't say.
Yeah.
Few things are in the pipeline.
Okay.
I will not be able to say it out loud, but then 3 things are in the pipeline. We are working towards it. Apart from that, my charitable, I have my own charity, not charity, it is an NGO called Raising Shakti Foundation.
Okay.
So we want to kind of work towards it this year. But since these other 3 things came and which needed my immediate attention, I'm putting that aside. But there's one launch which resonates with the way I live, and there's one something I can't say it.
Right.
Anyway, like let's just wait. I don't think I should say it out loud.
Right.
So yeah, I'm working and we're in a great space, and it's creatively very demanding, and this is something that I've never done before. So I'm learning in the process.
I'm producing a movie over.
Oh no.
Because I've heard that, in one of your interviews, you told that probably, in the future, when you got in so many offers to act, you told
yeah,
probably
yeah.
I'll direct a movie or
Not
or
direct.
produce.
I said if someone comes with a great script which has a social impact attached to it, I don't mind doing a movie is what I said. But I never said I would invest and direct and produce or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, I'm in a great space.
This would be the last question, and this is probably the question that started this foundation. This podcast altogether. What do you think life is all about?
Just living. Living with wonder, and one life is not enough to like explore all that you can. But I don't want to die with the feeling that this was in my reach but I did not address it. I'm not saying I want to climb Mount Everest or something, that is not my reach. But if I had a chance to trek this mountain which was in my reach, if I didn't do it, that I wanted to do it, then I would be really ashamed of how I lived my life. So just living without any hang-ups, meaning regrets, and also not taking yourself too seriously. Like that's the best thing I've learned. The moment you take yourself too seriously, your ego becomes so fragile. Someone says something, that it'll start bothering you.
Right.
Like make yourself so easy.
It doesn't let you sleep at night.
Huh?
I know. It doesn't let you sleep at night.
Yeah, so don't make your ego so fragile. The more importance you give yourself and say, this is who I am, then every small thing will start affecting you.
Right.
Just like live like a throbbing life, and just be greedy for life, and experience as much as you can. See, what do you have? You have time in your hand. All that you have is time. As a life, what is it? You just have time, and done. Like how Sadhguru says, time is ticking away from every minute. Like I sat here with you, 2 hours of my life I've given you. So I'm like 2 hours short of my life. Am I not? So everyone, that's what he says. It's such a beautiful way of putting it. So every minute you're living, you're dying. You're living, you're dying. You're dying 1 minute, you're also living that minute. So, value those moments and make the best out of every moment that you have, and drop your labels, drop your nonsense, drop your, resentments, be a free life. Be able to talk to anybody, like all that, don't keep all that things that will never let you grow. The more free you are, the more you can experience life.
Right.
So just liberate from your own mind.
Do you have a fear of anything as of now?
Fear of
And what are you afraid of or scared of the most?
As a child, I was not afraid, but I used to get jitters when I saw lizards. But now I made peace with them also. Like I said, like no, like I feel like, what do you do to me? Like it's my problem that I find you a little creepy, but it's my problem. It's not your problem. So I made peace with lizards. Fear, nothing actually, really nothing. In fact, recently only I was telling my friend, like I'm in a beautiful space. Even if I die today, like it's like okay, like I feel like I'm in that beautiful space. So I keep telling my mother and my maids also, okay, tomorrow if I die, no, na sarees and auction kicheni because that's my prized possession. So yeah, I'm in a great space. It really nothing bothers me because with my meditation and my sadhana, I know there is some power that is guarding me, and it is walking with me. It is right here with me. It is helping me. Like navigate life beautifully. It is helping me make the right choices. It is hard to describe. I don't think this is a podcast. I should be even saying such things. If it's a spiritual podcast, I would have gone deeper. But after some time, you know it with conviction that something is guarding you because you put in the effort. See, even to get to this space, you have to make yourself worthy. You should have put in that kind of work and have to be so clean in your mind and intentions that you can feel that this energy is constantly safeguarding you, and you're in the lap of that energy, and I feel that, so I have fear of nothing now.
Right. No, I'm sure. I mean, most of the things I
You're too
really
young to
relate.
understand
No, I
these
really
things.
relate to it, and I also do meditation, for a matter of fact, and I'm not this random 10-15 minutes doer of meditation. I really get into my trance as well. Sometimes I revisit and visit different places. There are certain moments in your life where you close your eyes and you feel embarrassed. Oh my God, I have visited those places myself, and I've corrected it, and I've come back. That's the kind of meditation that I do. That's the kind of power that I've held, and I really believe in this. And I also know that this is very underrepresented in the world when it comes to meditation. Most people do not understand the importance of it, but for me, it was more of a journey to heal myself, from most of the things, and I still do that purposefully, consciously. I do now.
Okay.
Before I was like, let's try. Most of them are talking about it. Let's see what happens. But now I'm consciously talking about it, doing it. I'm trying to bring that aspect into my teachings, into my preachings as well, because it has worked wonderful for me.
Right.
And trust me on this, I've been an ardent follower. I mean, I wouldn't call it religious, but I was always enthusiastic about knowing about God, knowing about religion, knowing about who's what's what. And today in the morning, I'll show it on my ChatGPT also. I was just speaking to it, and I told about tell me something peculiar about so and so thing, and it all started, and we had a discussion. And in that discussion, there's this story that has come up.
Okay.
Right. So one day, what happened? Lord Vishnu and Goddess Lakshmi. Right, they both get into a small disagreement. Who's bigger and who's not? मैं तुमसे बड़ी हूँ and all that. Lakshmi, Goddess Lakshmi, she's notorious that way. She sometimes feel that she's bigger than everyone. Sometimes, there have been stories like that. So she tells Vishnu that what, you're all great, I understand, but the moment I come in terms of wealth or money, people forget you. Right? People will forget you. Right? The moment I come in, people will forget you. You can all be nice and all that, but the moment I come in, they leave you, they'll come to me, right? And they're like, okay, let's do one thing, let's do a competition, healthy competition, let's see ourselves. And then they'll visit this space, and there's this house, and there's a funeral going on in that house. Someone very older, he has passed, and the whole funeral procession is happening, everything, and they're all very dedicated. And the only name that you hear when a funeral happens, especially in Hindu tradition, is Ram Nam Satya, Hare Nam Satya. You hear the name Hari and Ram, right? And Vishnu says, see, I am the true meaning of life, and right now when a person isn't there anymore, the only thing that these guys are speaking is about me, because I'm the only truth. And then what Goddess Lakshmi does is, she starts showering gold coins and silver coins. Everyone, they leave the funeral and they start collecting gold and silver. And now Lakshmi says, see, this is your truth. Right? Now you know who's important. And then Vishnu says this, which is very profound. I want you all to please understand the essence of it. He says, everyone has come to you. They have started collecting those gold and silver. Look at the dead body. Look at the dead person. He's not moving. Why is not moving? Because I'm not inside him anymore.
Oh, wow.
So the very beginning of life is me, right? And that is so profound. And I'm not saying, this God is better than this God. No, it's just that
the story is trying to teach you something through the story.
Yeah. So look at the importance of human life, right? You're alive. You have your positions. You have your thoughts, your opinions, your way of living. Everything is because you're breathing today. And the moment you stop breathing, nothing stays with you anymore, right? So that's how a temporary world we are in. And the only truth is what you do when you're alive.
Yeah.
Because once you're dead.
You beautifully rounded what I just said, and then with a beautiful story. Wow, I can share this story sometimes with few people. It's profound. It's beautiful. Yeah.
And that note, we'll wrap the podcast.
Yes.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you too.
And I'm really sorry, and trust me, there are lots of questions that I want to ask, but I understand that you're very busy.
We'll do another podcast, only spirituality podcast.
Right. We'll definitely do, because I want to explore that. I have lots to talk about it. But thank you so much. I hope the experience was worthwhile.
No, it was worthwhile, and your energy is calm and rooted and grounded. So it was easy for me to even, say what I have to say. Somehow I felt like you would get it. Like if I was 24, I don't know if I got what I spoke now.
Right.
But it's interesting to see that you are working upon yourself and you meditate and you have, reached sometimes the transcendental states. It's nice, something is aligned in this podcast.
Thank you so much, Shilpa. And what we'll do is we'll just allow our audience to ask you a couple of questions.
Okay.
Cameras are on. Okay, what we'll do is we'll open the floor for questions. Any question regarding our conversation is welcome. Let's start. Okay. Cool. The first question. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Your name and you can ask the question.
Hi ma'am, I'm Suneet.
Hi, Sudeep.
The question I have for you is throughout all these years, people have known for your achievements and for your fabulous work. And I mean, many of the people know what you have achieved throughout the years. But then what's that one achievement that you really are proud of yourself that barely people know about?
My internal journey, my inner journey. That is something nobody can see, touch, or feel. But then I know where it's reached and how much more there is scope for it to go. So my inner journey is something that I'm very, very proud of, because that's what is manifesting in the world around me.
And one more final question, if you allow. What's the one piece of advice you would give to, the young generation?
There's so many. Build great relationships, whether it's at home or at work or with your friends. And then don't take yourself too seriously, and don't get disappointed for small things, because you can do so many things in life. Even if you studied journalism and you will end up doing, you're becoming an artist, it's okay. If something doesn't work in your life, it's not the end of it all. You can do so much more. So don't get disappointed. Build great relationships that stay with you for the rest of your life, and don't take yourself too seriously. And invest in, oh my God, how can I forget this? Invest time in your mental fitness and physical fitness.
Thank
you, Suneet.
Thank you.
The next question. Yes.
Hi ma'am, this is Jyoti here. So,
Jyoti.
Yeah.
Hi, Jyoti.
Yeah, hi. I've been following you from last 5 years now.
Okay.
So good to see you every day. So every day I see your stories, how you put up wherever you go, the temple architectures, right from temple architectures to the pets, how you talk to them,
Right.
and how grateful you are from a fruit that you have even planted a tree.
Right.
So I do follow it. It's very nice. That really impacted me as well. So wherever I go, I talk to the people now. So it's great to see that influence. I wanted to ask one question is about this sustainability that you're following, and then you're deep into it. But how about people around you? You have a good friends in the celebrity, or they're celebrity friends, right? So do they also follow the influence? Do you influence them, or does it bother you that they're not following it? Or
Nothing bothers me anymore.
Yeah.
I will do as I mentioned earlier. They see me do things like I start, bringing my bottle. I'll bring my bags from the car before going to supermarket. So they see all of that. You can't, like they say, you can take the horse to the water, but you can't force it to drink water. So you live your life with that, integrity and commitment. If someone is sensitive, they will learn. If someone is not sensitive, they will not learn. So I don't force people to do anything. I just live as an example, and I react like this intentionally to create certain, so certain situation, like, so they can remember it and maybe they will change one day. But I'll not say, why did you do it? Like, I'll create a scene about it and try to make them remember for the next time, but I never force. So nothing bothers me. I will tell them once, twice. Even at home, you can't have everybody do it. Even in my house, out of 5 staff members, one person doesn't care what I say, what I want them to do. The other 4 will follow. So there's always people in your life that you cannot change fully. You do what you have to do. You live by example. People are sensitive. If they see value in it, they will adopt it. If they don't see value in it, they don't. So nothing bothers me in that sense.
Thank you. And one last question. Sorry. So you've been into this fashion for so many years. You've built up the brand, and then you had to give it up, being a consciousness. Say, for example, now you see one young person and they want to start a fashion business.
Right.
So what do you suggest? How can they just get into the fashion with having this sustainability for a long term again?
So I would suggest, because we have so much in India right now, Bharat. We have so much in Bharat right now, fabrics, and then they're reinventing blends of different natural fibers which were not there earlier. So whatever they do, I would suggest them to do it consciously, whether it's packaging or how they run their business, or what kind of fabrics they're using. See, you can't stop someone's aspirations. If you want to become a designer, you will, because I also did that. So I can't tell a young student who's coming out of a fashion school like, oh, fashion, third polluting industry on the planet, you can't. I don't say such things. I'll just say, just be conscious as to what you're using. There's so much choice in Bharat that you can use. There's so many weaves that are dying, you can revive. So I'll just say those few things. If they pick up on those, it's okay. But if they can't, then I don't force.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Any other question? Yes.
Ma'am, firstly, thank you so much for this beautiful conversation.
Thank you for your patience.
Oh, no, ma'am. It was so stimulating, and we could feel the energy that you hold. Like, you always been an ambassador for inner engineering, Orisha. Through you, I've done inner engineering. Devi, I got close to Devi. So, I think you influenced Sam, ma'am. One of her interview videos, I saw that.
Yeah.
And then Devi was already there in my home, but I never sat and did meditation. But through that video, why not? Maybe she said she cried for 2 hours and things transformed for her. So why not, I thought. And since then my life changed. I've been to ashram like 5-6 times. Now my parents are so worried I'll not get married. I'll be there only, but
show my example.
Yeah, you now, because of you guys, you're speaking about it so much. Now they are also realizing, okay, this is a good track. Yeah, it's very helpful for people like us. But yesterday also I was at Isha Life Hyderabad. I always expect you to see there for Paurnamis at least. So I was there. But ma'am, my question is, there were so many takeaways from the today's episode, but what I loved most about is your energy. It was warm, compassionate, at the same time, do not mess up with me. If you mess up with me, it is so needed. I work for Women and Child Welfare Department, AP, Andhra Pradesh. So
what's your question?
That's what, how to maintain that boundaries, and how you have to be compassionate, but people take it for advantage.
So you have to draw your boundaries very strong. See, even I learned it the hard way. By the way, I got cheated. I got duped. People took advantage of me, and I think people can still take advantage of it, because I think with my mindset, I think everyone is idealistic. We are artists. Like I have artistic mindset. I'm not a logical person. Like I love to feel the magic. So what you tend to have that nature to want to believe everything and trust everybody. But I have learned it also in a hard way that you should be able to say no assertively, and you should strongly draw a boundary if someone is trying to step over it. Because I've realized that whatever I've earned is very precious and sacred to me, and I cannot let anybody and everybody have access to it without drawing boundaries. It's also a way to respect what you've earned in your life, and not like just have everybody have access to it. Someone is trying to step over the boundary, you have to be assertive. And as I'm telling you again and again, I didn't learn it for many years. Like even now I'm like, this is something, it's so sacred, I will not let anybody step over it. I will keep my guard, and this privacy is what I deserve. So keep, again, reflection, contemplation, introspection is very important for you to reach that point. But it'll happen. You have to keep working at it.
Right, the last question. Give it to her.
My question for you is 20 plus years into the business. You have given endless concepts to the audience in all aspects. And followers and fans are always hungry for something new, right? So does that put an unsaid pressure on you to do well sometimes?
No, not at all. I'm just being myself. That's why people like me, I think. I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody or keep that image going, So no, not at all. No pressure. See, sometimes like when I travel or, like some things I show you guys, some things I absolutely don't show you. Like when I travel with my husband and my kid, like that part of me is never for display or never, put out. So there are parts of me I guard and safeguard, and I really don't need to get pressurized to be a certain way or manage a certain image. Not at all. Even if you expect 100 from me, today if I'm giving only 20, I'll give you only 20. You expect 100. I'm only giving you 20. Take it or leave it.
Beautiful. Usually I ask these kind of questions to people, they're always like, oh, I face a lot of pressure to do well and all that. I love that you've beautifully answered and kept it crisp. Love that for you.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
we'll
you, guys.
close the audience session. I'm really sorry. I'm sure you have lots of questions.
I think there's only one question. Let's just take that one question.
Okay.
After that, no, because she raised her hand and she had this
Thank you so
cute
much.
little disappointing smile. I felt bad for her. Go ahead.
I'm
Mary.
Mavika Jain. What's the one life lesson that's changed your perspective forever?
That even the most successful person that you think he or she is can be empty and hollow within. You could be so rich, you could be like getting the applause of the world, you must be like hundreds of people might be wanting to be like you, but you could be empty and hollow and like scattered. If that is how you're living, it's a waste of life. No wealth, no education, no applause will mean nothing to you inside. Like for outside world, it could be, wow, I wish I had a life of hers. But then if you're not fulfilled and if you're empty inside, it'll shatter you. And it means nothing. Like success means nothing, wealth means nothing. Nothing means nothing in that state. So that's something that I learned.
Thank you so much.
Well, again, thank you guys. Thank you so much, and thank you, Shilpa. Thank you so much for taking that question.